nice. Very nice. Good puppy. It's a good puppy. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and making your way back to my page. I'm excited because you all have been so encouraging, and I just can't thank you enough. So, if you hear me thank you on every video, just get used to it. We have a special guest today. We were gifted a beautiful dog. It's an early Christmas gift for our kids. So I would like to introduce you all in case you're wondering who this little brown fur baby is. Let's see. His name is Mocha. Say hi, Mocha. And I'm really not a dog person, but when I saw him and yeah, just had him over, I fell in love with him. So yeah, I guess I've become a dog person now and can't do nothing about it. I love him. I'm too deep in, and the kids love him. He's just a good pet for the family. So I think it's all about having the right animal for sure because I've tried having animals before and it just did not work out. So with this new experience, I'm hoping to overcome the failures that has happened in the past with my puppies, and hopefully he sticks around for good. He's our forever dog, and yeah, my intentions are to keep you, buddy, not send you away, okay? But anyway, thank you all again for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about gifts, igniting your gifts, and I just want to dive straight into it because I know that you're taking your time out right now to listen, and you're probably, have so much to get done. But I came on here to share some personal experiences about how I ignited my gifts and also ways that you can as well, and not feel so overwhelmed with life that you can't pursue your passion or your gift. So the first thing I would like to do is share a little bit about my journey and about what has caused me to just start putting out my gifts out, into the world, into my community, and not feel ashamed about it or not feel a little insecure. So, what has helped me personally is just betting on myself. And I had to change the way that I view talents and gifts. And once I realized that, yes, I may be good at everything, but that may not be my purpose. That may not be what my God given purpose in life is to do. I had to just kind of slow it down and really sit back and think about what I enjoy doing. When I go to sleep, I think about it. When I wake up, I think about it. And so to me, those are the most important things I want to highlight, on why I started to ignite and why I started to push out my purpose. So I one day was just at my job, and a lot of people just would come to me for advice, just for like inspiration. And so I started this thing that I carried on from my old job, something called Feel Good Friday. And what I thought about, like, how easy it was for me to pull people together. And although these people maybe have been from different backgrounds, they may have been different, I just came up with an itinerary of short activities that we could do to team build at my previous job, just to kind of help break the ice and also get to know my coworkers in a more intimate way, so that way they're not just thinking they're a number. And of course, I was not the boss. I was literally their coworkers. But I got permission from my boss, and he just said, "Hey, run with it." And so I think that I just have a natural given talent to bring people together and just pull them out of their shells. So that's what I'm doing now as far as reading. When I go to schools, I do activities and not just read to kids, but I actually go out and get them talking, do icebreakers, just get them out of their shell. And I think that that's what brings me the most joy. Even when I mentored young girls in high school, I would do activities with them, and it was just ideas that would come to mind that would be nice, cool icebreakers. And it actually would always turn out really well when we would execute those ideas. So I just think that because it's a natural gift to uplift, that's what was so easy for me to do the book, It's Just Hair. I just feel like once you hone in on what your gifts are, it'll start to flow in other areas of your life. So now when I write stories, I'm doing it to inspire, I'm doing it to encourage the readers. So that's just one of my talents, but I'm just grateful that I was able to view it differently and view it as a gift because some people may say, well, I encourage people all the time. That's just something I do. But you may not look at it as something you can use for your career, something you can use in your everyday life. And your gifts are used to help others. So those natural given things that you do, those natural things that doesn't seem like a hard effort to push out, those are most likely the gifts that are inside of you, that you should let out, that you should ignite and not feel ashamed about it. I didn't think that when I would speak to these events, conferences, seminars, I didn't think that I would be as valued or taken serious, basically because I sometimes don't take life serious. I don't sweat the small things. So whenever it is time for me to be professional, to be serious, I just kind of would feel a little nervous for public speaking, or like I would stumble over my words. But eventually I got the hang of it and I enjoyed doing it. So I just kept on perfecting my craft, and I'm still doing that today. But I didn't view myself as a person that would be even comfortable speaking in front of thousands of people, or just speaking in general, or even doing this podcast. So I just want to say, don't take your gifts lightly, because it can, if you take it serious, take you farther than you can imagine. It can take you far, and it can bring you to a place of not only it's helping people outside, or you're helping others, but it's internally fulfilling when you are activating your gifts, when you are igniting those things that are inside of you. One thing that I can remember me doing to help me stay consistent is breaking small habits. So I'm not a person that's always consistent, but what has helped me to stay focused on stay in my lane, stay in my zone, is to just stay consistent in the small things, and eventually it'll lead up to something large. So I don't try to do grand things every day. I think that your gifts can be amazing, but you may not manage time well. You may not be a person that's consistent. So I'd much rather have quality and much rather be consistent in what I'm doing than to just be an overnight success and just, like come out of nowhere and just, I don't believe that that's how you fulfill your purpose, that's how life is. Life is about challenges. Life is about it's just about ups and downs and how you perceive things. And so I'm grateful that I'm able to pace myself and just stay consistent in the small things that I know eventually will lead to greater things. And I'm patient knowing that what I'm doing now is developing myself inside. I'm more focused on how I am, how my soul looks, how does my heart look or feel? Do I walk around with unforgiveness? Do I walk around, jealous, or do I compare my gifts to other people? And if I am doing that, I need to check myself, because what's the point of putting things out there when you're not fulfilled inside, when you still feel empty? So my greatest satisfaction is focusing on what I can do to build myself up internally, and that's what helps me to flow in my gifts so well now, is because I've worked on the inside. I've done, and I'm not perfect. I'm still a progress. I'm still making progress to be better, but I can say that I've done works to help me to build my character more than anything. I also want to bring in just an example, like when you view your gift as something so special, just imagine you wanting something so bad for Christmas. I know it's the holiday season. We're all giving out gifts. We're all excited maybe to receive gifts. And usually when you receive something that is in your mind quality or luxury, you view that gift as something so precious. You are going to treat it with care. If it's a new vehicle, a new home, whatever it may be, you will treat that gift as if it is a prized possession. And so that is how you should treat the gifts that God has given you on the inside. You should treat your life as something precious, worth time, worth care, worth just being adored and appreciated. You should definitely look at your life as something of value. So that's what I started doing. I started looking at my gifts as quality. It's definitely important to view your life as something more than just earthly things that will pass away. Don't focus on the external things that you may achieve in life. Those things will come. But when you can view your life, when you can see yourself helping others, when you can see that your gifts are being an encouragement to someone else, it really just does something to you inwardly. It fulfills you so much more to just give out your gifts and talents and not hold it, not just always receive, but to give back. And if you can't give back financially, you can give back your time. You can use your gifts to uplift someone that may not be fortunate. You can send a text to a friend that you know is going through something. It could be small things. It doesn't have to be something major, but it is important to say, like, every day, what am I doing to be a gift giver to others? What am I doing to give myself and not just receive? So yeah, when you view your gifts as something very precious, it changes the game and it makes it more exciting that way. Um, One thing that I do to encourage others is I might send a text message of if someone's on my heart, and I'll send something that I feel that they're inspired by. I may send a TikTok video. I might even send a video myself, recording myself and just speaking to that person. So yeah, you can get creative with it. You don't have to be perfect, but I definitely want to encourage you to give something of yourself to someone else because it's so much more fulfilling that way. If you're trying to find out what is my gift, like you still can't figure out what it is because you may enjoy doing so much and it's hard to like hone in on it, it's okay because I'm a person that has multiple gifts, but I'm not so much everywhere anymore. I'm not so much in so many different things that I can't stay focused on one. So what has helped me is to just see what I enjoy the most and what brings me more satisfaction. So, for instance, I used to dance, and it would be like ministry dancing, and that's one of my gifts where I would go around with a group of girls, and we would travel and dance, and that was part of at the time in my 20s. Man, that was a passion for me. And so what I noticed is when I stopped dancing, people would come up to me and say, "Hey, you need to get back to your gifts. You need to get back to dancing. That's what you are called to do. That's what your purpose is." And if I was a person that was so easily persuaded, or just so easily manipulated, not even manipulated, so easily influenced, let me say that. If I was so easily influenced by others, I would go back to dancing and I would have never discovered these new gifts that are inside of me, which is writing, which is speaking. And so I just want to encourage you to not focus on things that other people may see in you all the time, but focus on what brings you the most joy at that moment. Something that you can do without thinking about it. And sometimes I feel like your gifts can be used in seasons where, at this point in your life, you may have done so much things that you enjoy. It doesn't matter what it is, but your season may be up for that, and it may be time for you to step back and discover new things that you didn't even realize you had inside of you. So just have fun in the process of discovering yourself. And as you discover yourself, as you discover new things that you didn't know about yourself, you'll start to see it unfold, new things that pop out of nowhere, honestly. And it's so much more gratifying when you can do that because you're not stuck in a box. You're not categorized to being this one way. It's okay to just change your mind and say, "Hey, I did this for a season. Now it's time for something new." And you don't owe anyone but yourself to just go out and enjoy your life and enjoy your gifts. It's supposed to be fulfilling for you to go out and share these gifts anyway to people. So if you're you're feeling drained, that you've been doing this thing for a long time, a certain thing for a long time, start to sit back and say, hey, what is it that I can do, something else that I might desire to do, and see if that helps. Because the last thing you want to do is get weary and just get discouraged. Now, I'm not saying give up on your talents. I'm not saying give up on the things that you know you're obviously talented in, but I am saying that there are certain times in life where we evolve, we grow, and sometimes we can grow out of the things that we used to do and tap into the new things that God has imparted in us that we may not have seen yet or discovered yet. Um, Daily practices are so important, because when you practice those things that you do discover each day, it's like a compound effect. It was a book that I read years ago, and it's called The Compound Effect. If you want to go out and get it, I recommend you do, because it really played a heavy part on how I'm consistent right now. Small things lead to larger success. So if you're consistent with daily practices, whether you do one or two things for that gift each day, it'll eventually unfold. Now, is it easy staying consistent? No. It's definitely not easy, but it is worth it. And I've seen it happen where when I was consistent, I just noticed that things grew. The thing that I was feeding, whatever it was, it started to grow and expand. And then I started to see the fruit of my labor, the fruit of all the things that I put inside of that thing. So I just want to encourage you to have daily practices, whether it's changing your routine, waking up a little early, adding in some workout into your daily practices, something that will help you to arrive to that dream of yours so that you can flourish in your gifts that God has given you. Let's see. I would like to read an inspirational quote that I think may help you. And sometimes quotes just really hit home for me because it's simplified, and it's just like I can just read a quote once a day and just feel, okay, I needed to hear that. I needed to see that in this message. So when I read quotes, it's not just to read just for nothing. It's literally to inspire me to think beyond my own mental capacity and just not overthink, not get so much in my head where I don't put out anything. So this quote right here, I hope is inspiring to you. It says, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. That's by a person named Pablo. So I'll repeat it. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. So when you find your gift, it's bringing true meaning, true value to your life. But the purpose of you finding that treasure, that gift that you hold so dearly, is to give it away. That is the whole purpose of it. So another thing I would like to discover and talk about today is, what are you doing to not only share your gifts, but what are you doing to make sure that you're living on purpose? You're living for a fulfilled life rather than just going through the motion, checking off the boxes with to-do lists for the day. What are you doing that brings self-gratification? Because I guarantee when you do that, when you treat yourself with care, when you are not so busy with life, that you slow down a bit and really just focus on you and your happiness, those gifts will start to manifest and it'll start to flow naturally. It'll just automatically come. Another gift I would like to read is, your gifts are not about you. Leadership is not about you. Your purpose is not about you. A life of significance is about serving those who need your gifts, your leadership, and your purpose. So if you were to ask me 5 years ago, I would tell you, I'm not sure what my gifts are. I'm not sure what it is I'm supposed to do on this earth because I enjoy doing so much. And I kind of would be persuaded by others that my gift was simply to dance for churches. But now, as I discovered myself, I realized that there's so much more to life. And so you cannot allow the voices of others that may see great things inside of you. You cannot allow people to tell you or dictate to you when you're supposed to use your gift, how you're supposed to use your gift, if you're not qualified enough or if you need more training or not. There's always going to be something to learn. There's always going to be something to grow in. But if you're not doing anything because you're so stuck in your head that it's just not possible right now to use my gifts, then that's just a little selfish, because somebody else is waiting on you to give out some tips, some knowledge, some inspiration. And by you trying to perfect everything, you're holding back someone else's blessing. I had to get out of that perfectionism. I had to get out of my own head with not being so perfect. And then once I let go of that perfection, whew, it was just so much easier. And I don't have pressures of people telling me what I'm supposed to do in life. I just kind of march to the beat of my own drum, and it makes life so much more fulfilling. I'm not going to sit there and say I can't receive from others, because I do love hearing older people share their wisdom and knowledge. But at the end of the day, if I don't hear something from God, from my gut, from my instinct, then I will not act upon it anymore. Before, when I was a people pleaser, I did everything to make sure that I fulfilled other people's gifts. But now, in this season of my life, in my 30s, I have learned that true value is when you can put yourself first. You're much more valuable to others, and you're much more beneficial to others when you don't conform to what other people are projecting on you. And when you don't conform to their ways, or what they may think your life should look like, when you focus on what matters to you the most, you are going to be much more valuable to others, because you're confident in yourself. You know what God told you to do, or you know what you're supposed to do, because you just have that intuition and you have no question about it. So stand firm in that. I want to mention some takeaways on this episode that you can take home with you and just think about when you're driving in your car, when you're working out, when you're out to eat with your family. If you really just sit back and think about, what can I do to push out my gifts and not put so much pressure on myself, but still push it out there and not be so perfect. The first thing I want to say is discover it. Discover what it is that you love doing the most and start to have fun with it. The next thing I would like to say is embrace consistency over perfection. I'm consistent. I am perfecting as I go. So I'm consistent with doing the things that I love, and I'll find out throughout time, throughout educating myself, throughout taking courses or YouTube University, whatever it is that I can learn from, and I'll just add it into what I'm doing. I'm not going to allow it to cripple me or stop me completely from showcasing what I know is valuable to others. So definitely embrace consistency. Just be consistent and don't worry so much about perfection. And the third thing, like I said, is to find joy in serving others. Find joy in giving your gift to someone else. I hope that this episode was helpful to you. I can't wait for you to tune in for the next episodes, where I have several guests and a few friends that are going to come on here and share their story on how they stay ignited. Remember, everyone has a spark that can turn into a flame if you ignite it. So just be encouraged, be blessed, and know that you are worth it. Talk to you later.